beginning of the,
Yeah, they moved all the cars out.
okay, we're streaming.
What?
Oh, have they?
Stream on.
They moved the cars?
Yeah, they moved all the cars, so I suspect it won't be up for long.
Right.
And I expect it will fall really quickly.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's 6 PM, so I would make a motion to open the public hearing. I guess I still can. If
Well,
Joe-
first I have to call the meeting to
Oh, yeah,
order.
let's do that first.
Let's, now, I call the meeting to order. I don't really want to do this if she's not here, number one,
Do the public meet,
for the special,
For the bed and breakfast.
yeah, for the bed
well,
and
we can't,
breakfast.
we can't do it if she's not here.
If she's not here, we
Okay.
just can't do it.
So we'll hold off opening the public.
By the way,
until-
assuming that she comes back to you, but I don't know if you want to do this. I made some suggestion, what I did was I took other, basically short-term rentals
Yeah,
that we've agreed to, and like the designs and how you might want to
yeah.
hand those to her so she knows
I'll do
that
that.
using crayons to
Yeah,
draw where the rooms are kind of doesn't work.
right.
And the picture of the house was nice, but wasn't really clear on where the parking was going to be for the bed and breakfast either.
Right.
So
Well,
that,
she has plenty of parking in the driveway, for the garage.
I assume she did, but it doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Is this the way to get around Airbnb?
Pardon me?
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, there's differences because with the short-term rental, then you don't serve any meals and you don't have to be there. With the bed and breakfast, someone has to be there. I mean, it's-
Living, yeah.
Yeah, living there. The owner is supposed to live there and you have to serve a meal. So that's the two differences.
Although it's supposed to be, but actually in the zoning law, it says that they can or cannot, do not have to serve meals at a bed and breakfast.
Well, the state, I think, requires you to serve a meal.
I think you're right, but actually that's one of the zoning things.
Yeah.
I noticed that was in there, which surprised me.
But the state requirements for bed and breakfast might be different from our requirements, which would.
Ours can be more stringent, but they
Yeah.
can't be less.
Right.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway. But anyway, so in terms of that, this form just has to be filled out. I also mentioned, just so everybody knows this, that there's supposed to be a narrative,
right,
and all she did was give us a list of
right.
things, incomplete sentences, and a lot of it was not available or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what those apply to. Is there a form that
Yeah,
those are
so,
paired
yeah,
to?
so, she's actually got so I stuck one of the forms in, from the an old STR,
Yeah.
without the name on it,
Yeah,
trying to give her an idea of what she actually needs to do to fill out the form correctly.
well, that's a good idea. If that comes up in the future, I'll do that as well.
Yeah, it just seems to do this. So in terms of approval of the minutes,
Alice, so if you're confused, I know we're running through a lot of stuff real quick, so.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't wanna leave you hanging. 'cause
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
kinda took
You-
off
Yeah,
on
if you
that.
have any questions, just
Yeah, feel
interrupt.
free to stop us.
Yeah, since this is your first time here. The minutes. I didn't get a copy of the minutes in
You didn't?
the folder.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'll look at them. Okay,
I'm sad I missed Abby being here.
yeah,
Pretty well.
yeah.
So the only thing I noticed with the minutes is the Fourth Street property. I think we had a follow-up action to look into the sprinkler requirements that then we found it wasn't required based on the property, so I don't know if we wanna just capture that somehow. I think Brian had a concern about the size of the property requiring sprinklers. We were gonna do that as a follow-up. It was a contingency for the approval, and I think Scott found that it's not needed for that property, so all good, but, I don't know if we wanna capture that. just-
Yeah, no, so you probably want to capture
Okay.
that just to add to it.
I'll bring it back.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. All right, so we're not gonna just wait till you do that? All right. Well, that was quick. I think that's a. So, the next issue is actually the board concerns and new business, and the first is the village comprehensive plan, which is, I suspect why Lori is primarily here.
Yes and no. Brian, do a few things at once here.
That's fine.
Sign checks. Here, come up. So the comprehensive plan, we were awarded a grant to complete comprehensive plan, hasn't been done since 2012. So we will be putting out to bid a group to lead that for us. And what I'd like from you is a member of the planning board, I have a member of the zoning board, 2 members of the board of trustees, and probably 2 business owners that will work on that. It'll take us some time. We haven't got the award yet, but it's coming. So that's the first thing for you all to think about, who you want to be that representative. It's gonna be some
It'll be time consuming.
Yep, gonna be some work.
Yeah.
How much time and what would the schedule look like?
I don't know until we get
Okay.
the group.
I wouldn't volunteer yet.
Have you looked at it ever?
Our plan? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be updates. It's been, years since we've done it, so
Yeah.
it's hard to know, but we'll have a group that will lead it for us, which we did for the zoning, which was great. So that we
Yeah.
don't have to do all the administrative work.
A company's gonna walk through the administration?
Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So we'll put that out to bid. We don't know who it'll be yet until we get the contract awarded, and then, we'll move forward on that.
Is there a public hearing portion to that where
Mhm.
people can come and add their,
There's a lot of them.
There's
Yeah.
steps all the way through.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, at least two hearings, and then there's at the end of it, the village, there's a hearing in front of the village board, so it's not something that happens
Yeah.
quickly at all.
And then the other thing that was on your agenda for the zoning update, so what I would like this board to do is to start looking at it. Annually, we confirmed, once we got the zoning updated, so that was, it's been 2 years now, that you with Scott, take a look at it, see if there's things in there that don't make sense. We don't want we're not gonna turn the whole thing over, because we just did it, but a year ago in January, we made some adjustments, because some things we found out just didn't make sense. Scott's probably got a list of them that he could tell you right off the top of his head. So I'd like to charge you all to do that fairly quickly. I know Brian's interested. Again, it's not supposed to be something, we're not turning it upside down. It's what doesn't make sense, what challenges do you have with it? Signs is one of the hot topics. What I like to see is a red line version, so, you take the current zoning, and if you're making recommendations, redline it. And then, so how the process works, just so you understand, Alice, is that this board would make the recommendations, it comes to the village board, we either adopt them all, or we might even change something else. We get a new updated version of the zoning, and then we have to have a public hearing and adopt it. One of the pieces that I think we should think about, and Scott and I have been going back and forth on this, is what's the definition for short-term rentals as far as what and how we're counting those numbers. So we have 3 different versions of what people think is a household. And so that's one of the pieces that I think we have to come to a conclusion on, of what is it really, 8% of what? Because we got 3 different numbers, literally, and Scott can give you the details, but held out changing it until you all look at it, because you're the ones that are sitting here having to figure out whether you're gonna approve them or not. And the applications for renewals are coming in kind of slow. Are we picking up at all?
They have actually this week, there's been quite a few coming in, but there's still definitely, it looks like there's several that are dropping out at the very least, yeah,
And we got about, what, 24 on the waiting list or so?
roughly.
So that's timely, because if that number adjusts, then we don't wanna move, because the current is 8% of, I can't remember what the number is. but-
8%.
It'd be easy to add some, but it's hard to cut them down, and
Exactly.
this would be a good opportunity where
Exactly.
if we find out we're 24 over what we should be, we
Yeah.
just don't
Exactly.
renew the people who don't, and
Right.
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is that, I think it happened just as you kind of expected it would, is that we have so many now that people are down 35% in the rentals because, the amount of short-term rentals is high just in the county alone, so.
I think there's been a big culture shift with short-term rentals. I think a lot of people really liked them at first in the freedom, but I'm seeing a lot of people are like, why do I gotta go somewhere where I have to clean when I'm done, put the
Yeah.
sheets in a dryer,
Yeah.
when I can stay at a hotel and they'll bring me whatever I want and just walk out when I'm done, like,
That's exactly, I was in Charlotte last week, and that's exactly what I heard, that
Yeah.
same comment there, is that, they don't wanna have to clean.
and then pay a cleaning fee.
The fees are,
Yeah.
yeah, they're very high, so, it's perfect time for us to look at this and maybe we adjust it.
yeah.
So you had signage as a separate item, but from my perspective, that should be included in the zoning update,
Right.
Yeah.
because it's all part of the zoning.
Yeah,
And is this also, I know Brian had a topic, I didn't get a lot of information from him, but he was talking about more rules around long-term rentals. Or at least where we do all this, we do checkups, you go to the property, we see the site plans, but then we know there are lots of apartments,
Yeah.
multi-unit apartments that are probably not being, yeah.
So that's gonna take a lot more work,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have the regulations, that would take an
Okay.
additional local law. Doesn't mean we can't add it in the future, but it would take, think about how long it took us to do the short-term rental.
Yeah,
Local law that, I don't think is a bad idea, because,
Mhm.
if you look around, I hear it, people, for safety reasons, they
yeah.
probably should be renting, so.
Yeah, for right now, I think we should just look at the kind of tweaking the
Yeah.
regulations and then think about the long-term rentals as a more, difficult thing to pursue later. Yeah, well, I've actually read almost all of this, and there's not really much to change that I can see. There's some tweaking to the signage primarily, and it gets kind of strange because in the law itself, well, let's see if I can find the page. Variances. What gets really strange is that there's a list of terms in it, or at least all of these different signs, but it gives definitions for them, but we don't actually mention a lot of those different signs in the actual law itself. And sometimes I'm interpreting a pennant sign to be one of the signs of the ones that are blow in the wind and are kind of annoying.
The vertical ones?
Yeah. And where they, currently they're not allowed.
Right.
The law says they're not allowed, and yet they're,
Well, there is a safety issue, at least on Franklin Street, because it can block the view, and we know how fast people drive through here. We talked last night about how many people have been hit, because no one slows down and they're distracted, and, and you just look at Fourth and Franklin,
yeah.
so, yes, I think you have to be careful about, if we're gonna allow them, because the whole street could be lined with them.
Yeah, I'm not a big, well, personally, I'm not a big fan, but I do think we have to consider that, especially in the village center area. That doesn't seem like a wise idea to me. And the other thing is that if you're going to allow them, it seems to me they should be attached to a building, not just floating out there.
Well, we don't really have, you know, the flag sign has been pretty controversial just because people want them displayed and we don't, our zoning doesn't cover those either.
Yeah,
At all.
well, I mean, as a board, we're just gonna have to decide that issue, but that's,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, so those are some of the things that, you know, you can make recommendations to change, and
yeah,
it shouldn't be a lot, like I said, we just did this a year ago, so,
I don't think, yeah,
but, you know, we really wanted to keep movement and check it over, because there's pain points, which brings me to the McGuire thing. So how are they permitted to take that down? What's going in there? Because
Well, the one over here is, I've been talking to them for a year and a half, that one needs to come down because it's structurally.
It's the white building all the way at
The
the back
barn.
of the parking
Yes,
lot.
yes,
Oh.
that's
That's
the one
what
that's
it's
coming down.
Okay,
This
yeah,
one.
that one's gonna fall.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna
is,
come down
exactly.
whether,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the one
Well,
on.
well,
That-
they want to take that one down.
Okay.
And that's what the board wants to discuss, because right now, they don't have plans of doing anything except they said planting a tree there is their plan, and so, but that's right.
So it's against our current zone.
No, they can't do that. They have to put something there. And the zoning law is very clear about that. They have to have a building to replace it.
Well, yeah, I mean.
That's,
Well, because we've already lost a lot of buildings, homes to blacktop.
yeah,
And so that's the reason it's in there. So when I heard you say that they were gonna take it, so that makes sense to me that it's the barn, because that literally is gonna fall.
Yeah.
Right.
in fact, I think it's a miracle it hasn't fallen, since it only seems to be held up by those questionable pieces of wood underneath it.
Yeah, I think the question is it historic? I think they were originally gonna apply for DRI money, for that building, and when we looked at it, it's so dilapidated that, you know, I don't know how old it is, but it's been there a long time.
Too old. I mean, really, yeah, it's just a
So
piece of
that's
that.
all I had. I really appreciate all that you do. I know Brian's term is coming up. I've been talking to a few individuals. If you have ideas on people, let me know. I did try to get Chris Stephanie, but is he living in Hector?
Not technically, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's getting married this year, so
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were moving up
Some
there,
part-time.
that way.
Ashton, the coffee shop girl, she would be, I mentioned it to her, and she was favorable.
She's
If you-
gotta live in the village.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
we all, yeah.
Yep.
that. Oh,
Yeah, I have some others that were recommended that, they don't currently live in the village. They were interested too, but you have to live in the village, so.
Hmm.
So, you know, think about it and,
I will rattle the cage of a neighbor of mine, but if I was him, I would say no. Because all the other things he's trying to do, but
yeah, I
I'll
have
see.
a couple people I'm talking to, I know, because we've got the other seat, and then I've got one on the ZBA, but I think I have that one filled. So, you
Yeah.
know, it's a thankless job, and I appreciate you all.
What about Brucey and Allen? I can't remember their last name.
I thought about, well, he's on the ZBA. I thought about her though, because she's been wanting to get engaged. So that might be a good one.
Okay.
Anything else for me?
Not really.
All right, appreciate you.
No.
I look forward to a zoning update.
what's the latest with the waterfront project?
What's that?
The waterfront project?
The housing?
Yeah,
You know, I checked on it about 2 weeks ago. He's moving things, but, you know, the biggest hurdle is the railroad.
okay.
So he's gotta move on that piece first, because the other things will come into play, but. if we
Without the
don't-
railroad crossing,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, I was just curious. We talked about it
I
for,
saw him a couple weeks ago, but that was it.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
thank you.
By the way, I did notice some, you might be interested in this, so don't go. But there is actually a section in the zoning law about solar panels, and we could actually require, especially there, that we might want to think about requiring some solar panels on those buildings because they're actually, pretty much, a lot of them would be in a perfect place to put them.
Yeah,
At
it's
least
such a-
some. I don't know if we want to do that, but I just noticed that one of the things that we're supposed to be doing long-term is encouraging that.
Yeah, we would have to make sure
But-
that it's allowable under the NIPA regulations because of our electric.
Well, that's the problem. I know that you couldn't do it before because
Yeah,
you couldn't integrate it into the system.
yeah. We did a small one at these, what do they call those apartments across from Jefferson Village? What's it called? Glen Lake, thank you. They do have a couple small panels there, and we were able to accommodate, but it really comes down to working the electric.
Yeah, I just don't know, but it seems like, I guess, I thought we should look into that.
Yeah.
you
Are
know,
people not allowed to put solar panels up because of our electric?
In the zone.
No.
I don't know why
Is
you
there-
would, but, yeah,
Well, they're,
They
you
go
know,
over the roofs.
yeah.
You certainly don't want them in your yard.
There are actually some interesting ones that are, you can actually get one that's kind of like a tree, and actually, it will fold out when the sun comes out, and then, and kind of move around to collect all the sun, and then when the sun goes down, it folds back up.
It would be folded up a lot here.
Yeah.
yeah. And with our electric prices, it'd take a long time to get your money back.
Yeah. Well, the price of the panels is coming down, so. But anyway, in terms of, did I find? Has anybody else been looking at this?
Whenever I am curious about something, I tend to pull it up, but I have not been
Yeah.
reading it in its entirety.
Um,
It's a little dry.
oh, it's a little dry, I mean, by God, it's
It's
awful.
not very gripping.
Yeah, because it does say in the bed and breakfast definitions here at the beginning, meals may or may not be provided. It's kind of surprised me, because it seems like a bed and breakfast should be a meal.
I'll look up the state and make, and
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you a copy of that.
No, I don't really, I can see where if you have a restaurant right next to the bed and breakfast, then why would you? You give them a ticket to go there and get breakfast.
Sounds like that's everything.
Pardon me?
Sounds like that's everything on the agenda.
Is there anything else that,
Well, we'll take that and look
yeah,
at our own.
I don't think, there's some things that I don't understand. It says,
you
like,
wanna-
it says, there's a line here, and again, I'm in definitions, it says, multifamily dwellings and mixed-use buildings or structures shall be considered non-residential uses. And I couldn't figure out how multi-family dwellings would not be considered residential usage, but that's just me.
Do you want to send a list of,
Yeah, I'll
things
try
that
to,
you found?
I'll send some stuff, and I'll
Okay.
send it out to you. And some of these I just have questions about, I don't really know what they mean.
okay. Do we want to add that to the agenda for next time? That
Yeah.
we'll look at his
Yeah.
list and come with our own if there's anything that comes
Yeah,
out
why
of
don't
us.
you look, I would suggest that I've gone through there's a lot that I've gone through, but there's other things I haven't. I mean, I went through all of the section for the definitions at the beginning, and I read with a little bit of laughing about how the legal terms and what may means and what,
That's about as far as I got.
yeah, I always find that funny. The word Persian shall mean a Persian firm or corporation or the plural of those words. Only a lawyer would write that. But anyway, so I would suggest that everybody look at the charts. I might add that as I was going through the, all the stuff for the, barriers and things, and plantings that were supposed to happen. I think Scott would have a full-time job just trying to keep up with that, because they're actually supposed to forever monitor all of those things and replace them when they die.
You know, everybody does that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, and they, like the trees, some of the places, the trees that they plant have to be 1.5 inches in diameter, and they can't be any smaller than that. And,
Well, so you want me to make a list of stuff that I've seen?
Yes.
And send that out?
yeah,
Okay.
besides the sign law, yeah, yeah.
I'll, you know,
Because I think we can tweak the A-frame thing pretty simply. I think
Yeah.
the big problem with the signs is the temporary signs.
right, and I've said before, I don't think we should have temporary signs.
Yeah.
I think that whole section should be eliminated.
I'm inclined, there's part of it I'm inclined to agree because it's unenforceable.
Right.
You know,
And
there's no, to have you have to look at every temporary sign and get permission for them to put it up is foolish. And then, you know, people are gonna put them up anyway.
Right.
And so,
I don't see the reason to even have temporary signs. You know,
Yeah.
if you put up a sign, then it's gonna be a permanent sign,
Yeah.
except for the A-frames. Those are the only temporary signs.
yeah.
So you're saying we shouldn't
What about
allow
political
any?
signs?
Say that again?
Political signs,
Well, those are,
temporary signs.
they are, but they don't even count because they're they have to be on personal property and not, you know, if they're in village property, then I'm picking them up. So if they're in somebody's front yard and then that's, I don't know.
They have to be
Maybe
on
Well,
your-
the problem is that
Your
no
side of the
signs can be,
sidewalk, right? Yeah.
you can have a sign in your yard, even if, long-term sign, as long as it's in your yard.
Right. I mean,
And so, but,
right, they're temporary
and
signs.
so
but
it's, that's where,
We're not gonna get into this now.
Oh, come on.
no, I don't. I mean, it's just I don't see,
But I really think these discussions should be done at a work session.
sure,
Yeah.
so do I.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just wanted to give you at least somewhat of a run-through on.
So how
the
is a work
requirements here.
session different than what we're doing right now?
You don't have to take minutes.
Yeah,
Ah,
so she doesn't have to be here.
Speak freely, it doesn't have to be.
okay.
Yeah. Everything else.
So then who keeps track of what's being said then?
Yeah, I saw a couple, places where I think we might want to tweak a chart or two, or that I didn't understand why why two were allowed instead of just one or something like that, you
Right.
know? Yeah, so, But-
So what do you say we make a list of the suggested sections so that we can address them at a work session?
yes,
Like give them all to Scott and then we'll have them print out.
Yeah, I will.
Come with the,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, we can do that,
Okay?
yeah. Those of you
I'm in
who are.
favor.
Just a minute, one more thing. So you don't really bore yourself to tears, do not read the section on design, requirements, wherever it is. Non-residential design guidelines, I would not bother with that. Don't read the telecommunications section because you can't really understand it. And it's almost impossible to figure out where it would ever come in here. So, that's about all I have to say. And I don't think we should worry about the maps at this time.
About the what?
Maps,
Oh, well, the maps,
just ignore the maps.
the maps are what they are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay?
And, yeah, and you need to talk to Joe.
Yep.
The maps don't get updated for, like, we had a case a while ago where someone was like, it was the building behind the theater, and they were in a residential, but they wanted to, do we adjust the map, or is it just for that owner, special permit, and then it goes back to what it was if they ever sell it?
Nope, if it's a zoning change, then it stays that way forever.
Forever, okay.
Until it gets changed again.
Gotcha,
if it
okay.
ever does, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we changed it, just, yeah. Is that completed, by the way?
It's virtually done, yes.
Yeah, okay. Because then I can get rid of it.
Yeah.
I can get rid of my copy of it once it's finally done. All right,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Dear me.
So we're asking Jill to come back, right?
Pardon me?
Redo her application and come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, if she wants to. I mean,
Okay.
she didn't even show up tonight, so.
Fair enough.
That was very strange. Oh.